Hello, my name is Abigail. Welcome to or back to Polyglot Progress, and welcome to everyone's favorite Polyglot Progress video of the year, my language goals and resolutions for next year. I am so excited for this video. I feel really good about the goals that I've set, language and otherwise, for 2024. They really are all goals that I am excited about. Like, I genuinely feel giddy thinking about accomplishing them, and more importantly, I feel giddy about the idea of doing all of the little things that make up the path to accomplishing them, and I'm really happy about that. 2023 was not a good year for me, and I'm glad that I'm coming out of it still feeling hopeful and honestly really excited about the future. I've also been doing a bit of work to really set myself up for success with these goals, because I feel like in the past 2 years I've found myself coming up a bit short with accomplishing the things that I want to. This year I have really put a lot of thought into my goals. I have made a vision board. I started setting up my planner, calendar, and other organization systems really far in advance of the new year, and I've already started to work on building up habits that I want to see myself having in 2024, and habits that I feel like will help me to achieve all of my goals. That way when New Year's hits, I'm not actually making that many huge life changes. I'm just continuing down a path that I already started on. So I'm feeling really good about this next year. But with all that, I'm also approaching things quite differently this year. I'm really doubling down on monthly goals being my focus this year, with very few overarching goals. Last year was my first year that I shifted away from using a quarterly system and went just yearly and monthly goals, but I still had quite a few yearly goals. And this year I'm taking that a step further and really intentionally focusing on making monthly goals how I set goals. My overall theme for this year, language-wise, is to get my language learning back on track and to become the language learner that I want to be. Coming out of the rough year that I had, I really want to do a lot of work to make language learning a big part of my life again. And then once they are back in my life, I really want to be the language learner that I want to be. I want to be working towards goals that I am passionate about and that excite me and make me want to learn more languages. And I want to do things that make me proud of myself. And so my thinking is, if I make good progress towards that, I'm going to be in a very different place in December 2024 than I am in January 2024. And so with that, I don't feel like it makes a lot of sense for me to set a lot of yearly goals when my goals are probably going to change a lot over the course of the year. So right now, I'm only actually going to tell you 4 overarching year-long goals that I have, and then 3 very loose goals that I'm planning to work on in the first half of the year. Besides that, I'll be setting all my goals month to month based on what I am feeling, what I am working on, what excites me. And then in June, I'm going to reassess, get some new second half of the year goals that I think will feel a little bit more like my normal standard year-long goals. And of course, continue setting monthly goals for the rest of the year as well. So starting with my 4 year-long goals. I'd like to log at least 700 hours of time spent with my target languages in Polylogger over the course of the year. It's really important to me that I dedicate more time to language learning and just have languages more integrated in my life this year. So this goal, which is a carryover from last year, is really just in the spirit of me spending quality time in languages and with languages. And my other 3 are actually also 2023 goals that are carrying over with some modifications. I would once again like to try to read 50 books. I am so determined to hit it this year. I've been wanting to be more consistent with reading and shift from reading in short, intense bursts to having more of a reading habit for a few years now, and I'm really dedicated to making that happen this year. So I'm hoping I can do that, and with that I will be able to read at least 50 books. And of those 50 books, I'd really like 12 to be in my target languages. That works out to be about a quarter of the books, and also works out to be 1 a month if I want to read that way. So I think it makes it a pretty doable goal while also pushing me. And similarly, I'd also like to try again to watch 50 movies this year. With again 12 being in my target languages, I think this will definitely be a little bit easier than the reading goal. But as my last goal, I'd also like to keep watching a good amount of TV and have a bit of that be in my target languages. I'm not setting an actual countable goal for this one, just because I feel like that's a little difficult with the differences in episode length, season length, series length, etc. But because I am more interested in working in television than in film, I think it is really important for me to continue to expand the number of shows that I've watched. And I also think that shows tend to be a little bit better for language practice than movies, but I would like to have both in my life. And that's it. Those are the only full-length year goals that I'm setting. Now, for the first 6 months of this year, I have set 3 really vague goals that I'm going to be working on over the first half of the year. And the reason for that is that I really want to take the first half of the year to really just get back into the swing of language learning. And I want to leave a lot of room for me to be able to adjust my goals month to month so that I can really make it as easy as possible for me to rebuild habits, build new habits, and just get back into the swing of being consistent with my language learning. So the 3 things that I'm working on in the first half of the year are going to be to rekindle my love for language learning and really rediscover spontaneity within it. When I was in like elementary through high school, I was never consistent with my language learning. I never really made any progress. I had no idea what I was doing, but I loved doing it. And whenever I was bored, I would end up trying to go and learn a little bit of a new language. And in high school and college, I would frequently procrastinate things that I needed to be doing for school by doing language stuff, because the act of studying a language and making progress in my target languages was just so much fun, and I just loved doing it so much. And I feel like in the last 2 years, as I've been really struggling with burnout and just putting a lot of pressure on myself, I feel like I've lost a little bit of that love. I want to be clear that I've never hated language learning or hated the activities that I've been doing, but I think that I've stopped gravitating towards doing things in my target languages for fun as much. And as a result, I think I've stopped doing as much as I probably would have if I had that joy and spontaneity and just love there the whole time. So this year, I really just want to foster that enjoyment for language learning again and do things that make me feel like I'm doing it spontaneously and make me excited to learn languages to the point that I would want to do that over anything else. And with that, I'd really like to become consistent again. And my more set goal for this is that by June 30th, when the first half of the year ends, I'd really like to be studying or using my target languages every single day. And the reason I'm giving myself 6 full months to hit the point where I'm using languages in my life every single day is exactly because of my first goal for the first half of this year. I could take a more disciplined approach and on January 1st or even before then just start studying every single day and keep at it until it's stuck. But it's really, really important to me that I get back to a place in my life where I enjoy the process and I love the process and I'm doing it every single day because I want to, not because that's my goal. Because I know that that's why I learn languages, because I love languages and I love the process of learning them. And I know that fostering that love and slowly rebuilding consistency is going to be far more sustainable for me than if I did take an approach of getting that habit built through discipline. I feel like the goal to have spontaneity and the goal to have consistency might seem like they're a little bit at odds with each other at first, but I really think that for me, they go hand in hand and they're only going to help with each other. When I'm consistent, it makes me so eager to do other language stuff, and it's going to make me want to spontaneously do more. And I know that when I'm feeling good about my language learning, I'm more consistent. So I'm really confident that they're just going to build off of each other. And then lastly, I just want to refresh all of my current target languages because I didn't get a lot of contact with my target languages this past year, and in the past 2 months, I really have not been doing much at all. Everything just feels a little bit rusty, or more so kind of like dusty. There's cobwebs all over everything. So I just want to start the year off by dusting those cobwebs out of my brain and getting to a place where I feel more comfortable and confident in all of my target languages so that I have a foundation in place to really start to make progress in the second half of the year. And that's it. Those are all of the goals that I'm setting right now. And that's not to say that my normal finish a textbook or take speaking lessons weekly type goals are not going to be goals that I set anymore. I definitely think that setting specific goals is really effective for me and is a really important part of how I make progress in my target languages. But those specific goals are going to be things that I set on a month-to-month basis and things that I share in my monthly vlogs and maybe in like a YouTube short at the start of the month instead of in this video. And I do, of course, have a general idea of what some of those things will be. Like, I know that I really want to work on my Spanish speaking this year, and I know that it's still a big goal for me to finish my first novel in Bulgarian. So worry not, those goals are not going away, and they're also not going to be completely random. They're going to be working towards those big goals that I have with the languages in my life. I'm just trying to leave it really open on the year-long and even half-year-long scale, so that way I can really make those decisions month to month based on how my life is going and the things that I want and need at that time. And also so I can be more spontaneous and not feel this pressure to be working towards my year-long goals all the time. As always, I'd love to hear your goals, whether they're yearly, quarterly, monthly, whatever it is that you're doing this year. I love goals and I love talking about them so much, so it is always so much fun for me to read the comments on this video. I also have a bunch of really exciting goals for polyglot progress this year, so I'm really, really looking forward to next year and looking forward to you hopefully joining me on the journey of achieving all of these things in the new year. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, practice makes progress.